How do you preserve your voice? What are the things you do to take care of your voice?
Yeah. So again, one of those things I don't joke with is the foundation of my voice. I don't do too much speaking. I don't speak when I do not have to speak.
Got you.
Um, yeah, and I do not. I make sure I do not speak over loud noise too much.
Mm,
So those are the
mhm.
first most important things. Some of the habits we adopt every day, where our kids annoy us, we're yelling at the top of our voices, or we're in a very public environment and we want to like convey an information and then we start to yell. I try to make sure I do not do that to the best of my abilities, even though sometimes I can't control it. So there's another thing I do, and I do recommend it for a lot of people. We call it vocal load, where you have to know um, for each day, what can your voice really take? At what point do your voice kind of feel sore or like feel quite tired? Like you feel it inside you internally that I feel like I have overused my voice. When you get to a point where you really understand how your voice works, so for example, if I've had to speak for so long, like I'm doing now, and I have to speak for a long time, I know I'm going to have to reduce the number of minutes that I'm going to have to
Mm,
use for my practice. Because if I do not factor the fact that I've done this and I've had a busy day as well, I'm
right,
pushing my
right.
voice to a limit that is not designed for. And the more the voice gets sore and I have to wait days for it to heal and it starts to have nodules and things that can be preventable, um, it has this lasting negative impact on the voice. So one of the
Mm,
first things I do is I make sure I kind of understand based on each day how much I have used my voice. And when we speak, it's part of it. So a lot of people think it's only the singing time they have to calculate, but that's false. Every time you open your mouth, we're using our vocal folds, it's vibrating. And so you have to factor how long it took you to speak or to do your job at work or whatever it is. And then also know that's going to also help you in knowing how long it takes you to sing. And then a very important thing is to warm up the voice. I do not joke with that. To warm up the voice before singing. And I
yeah,
know a few singers, especially someone like Jennifer Hudson, has said she doesn't warm up. She just wakes up and holds the microphone and she does a thing. Well, not everyone is like that. There are just a few human beings in this world that are that great and special. Someone like her.
right, right.
Um, but a lot of people, if they do that, that voice is not going to last long. It's definitely not going to last long because it's just like when you go to the gym, you're not going to get there first thing in the morning and start carrying heavy weights or your cardio. You're
Mhm.
going to
Gotta
stretch.
stretch.
You're going to do some
Mhm.
form of warm up. And our vocal folds are also, filled with muscles. So we also have to do some form of stretching before we do singing. So I don't joke with that. I warm up my voice and we have certain exercises we call SOVT exercises, semi-occluded vocal tracts exercises like lip trill. We have humming, the brr, 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 something like that. We have yeah, some
Mhm.
have to do this, just keep it gentle. We have the tongue trill as well. We have the humming. We have the just some of those things that gives you that semi use of your voice. So that's what we start with. And then breathing exercise, I do that as well afterwards because it helps you as well to control how your vocal fold vibrates. So the more you understand or how the more you are able to hold your breath on this or any other sound you choose to make or without even making any sound, how long you can exhale healthy without feeling some form of some cutting off or anything. It helps in the long run to do that. So those are some of the ways that I do take care of my voice. And then I don't take things that are too cold.
Oh,
Those by
right, right.
choice, yeah. Because well, they say we don't whatever we eat or drink doesn't actually get to our vocal folds in any way. But I have noticed personally that when I have something that is cold, maybe few minutes or hours before I need to sing, I just feel some form of stiffness inside. So
Mm,
I tend to
mm,
keep what I drink lukewarm, not necessarily hot, because then we don't want to burn the throat or
right,
anything. Just
right.
something lukewarm. So I also look at what I drink as well. Very important to me. And then how I practice. That's another way I keep my voice. I know how to make sure that I'm able to still do what I need to do without doing lots of yelling, but still able
Yes.
to address what I want to get done. So those are some of the things I do to keep my voice.
Yeah, I'm loving this. I'm just loving this. I'm enjoying this. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, now, has there been a time where, you strained your voice, or there was a time where you had some issues with your vocal cords, because or any time where you had some type of vocal exhaust,
Yeah.
exhaustion, excuse me,
Yeah.
you know, and how did can you give me some examples of how, if those occurred or not, and how did you remedy those things?
Yeah. So it has happened a few times. And the last time that happened was in 2023. I think 2024 December. I had quite a lot of recordings I did, and I was supposed to be at a rehearsal. And one of the ways that that happens easily is singing out of your range. It is okay to change keys to songs when they're not in your range. And even though I had gotten myself all worked up doing so many musical gigs, I refused to change the key. I mean, we were in a rehearsal. I could have just changed the key and kind of rest my voice till the day of, but I sung on that key. And because I felt that tiredness, I was putting in too much force than I typically would just to get to that high note. And there was a time I sang one and I did that belting and I felt my vocal folds fold in a way that it
How does
had
that
never happened
feel?
before.
How does that
The
feel? Like when you
discomfort, like it feels like, yeah, it feels like a violin was just plopped. Like it's strange. It should just go up and down, but it felt as if it was like it was weird. And I knew something had happened that was really bad. And after that rehearsal, I tried not to speak. I thought that was just going to be enough. I'm not going to speak for the day. And whenever I don't want to speak, I just put on a face mask all day. And my family, we do have sign languages. We just used to communicate. But then the next day, and I was supposed to
Mhm.
sing that song 3 days with the group I was rehearsing with. And I thought, okay, I'm just going to rest my voice today. I'll be fine tomorrow. But the next day came and the voice was like, mm-mm. I'm like, this has never happened to me before. And then the second day came, no better. And that was the day before the performance. And on that same day, I
Right.
felt, okay, now I can try to sing. And the very moment I opened my mouth, I knew something really bad had happened here. And then I had to start making calls. And I'm sorry, this is the first time I'll have to do this, but I can't do this. Like, I feel like I've really taken my voice to a place that it shouldn't have gone to. And it took
Right.
me about 6 weeks to heal.
Mm.
And typically, a lot of
Oh,
times, it takes about just 3 to 10
wow.
days to heal, but it took 6 weeks because I
Oh,
had never felt my vocal folds do that before. It was a strange feeling. And
right.
so that was the first, I won't say that's the first, but that was
Yeah.
the first severe
It
one
took some
I
real
ever had.
reconditioning.
Ah,
Yeah.
yeah. At that point, I knew I just had to take some time off, no singing, no teaching, nothing. And it
Wow.
took me that
Yes.
time. Because typically we do advise, even when you have that sore throat, try to, use your voice a little bit. Don't just go and keep your voice and do nothing. Still do little things, but I knew it was that bad. I couldn't do anything else than just to let it rest.
Yes. Let it rest. And yes, so I'm glad you did that, and I'm glad your voice is back.